Hey guys, what's up? In this video I'm going to share with you 3 ways to use ChatGPT to get better results with your cold outreach campaigns. I've personally tested these methods over the last couple of months and we've seen some amazing results, so I can't wait to share them with you. Especially if you stick around to the end, in which I will share a tip that can actually save you a lot of money to personalize your cold emails. Alright, so the first way to leverage ChatGPT in your cold email strategy is to use it for research. So I'll link all of the prompts I'll use in this video down below. This is the first one I got for you. So with ChatGPT, the most important thing is to get the prompt right. So if you just write a generic short sentence and ask the AI to write something for you, it will not be good. So the more extensive you make it, the better it is. So this is my example for you. So just to read it out loud, please provide a detailed analysis of the top 5 pain points faced by decision makers in industry. For each pain point, give me the underlying causes, the impact in their daily lives and in their business, as well as some relevant trends and developments in that market. And finally, also suggest some effective ways to address these pain points in a cold email to engage and resonate with the target audience. So let's try this one out. So just go to ChatGPT, and I do like to use GPT-4. I'm not sure if there's a huge difference, but why not use it if you have the subscription? So I filled it out for SaaS founders, and I'm just gonna let it run here. All right, so as you can see, you can have it expand on different types of pain points it already gave you, and it will give a super detailed explanation. So obviously I will not go through this entire explanation right now, but you can play around with the prompt and go deeper and deeper and make it as specific as you want. Some ideas are, for example, to include certain headcounts. So you can say specifically for SaaS companies between 10 and 20 employees, or specifically for e-commerce founders that are doing over $1 million a year, all that kind of stuff, to basically niche down or make the information more specific to the exact prospect you're targeting. And yeah, this is basically how you can do research with ChatGPT. One thing I will note though is that it does work really well for this type of general stuff, but if you want to go super specific or in a super niche market, make sure to always confirm with someone in that market that the information is actually correct, or do some Googling yourself to verify that you're actually getting the right answers before sending out your emails. So the second way you can use it is to write scripts. So a lot of people are very skeptical when it comes to ChatGPT and writing, but what I found is if you give it the right prompts, it can actually write a really good cold email sequence for you from start to finish. The way I do it is I use the following prompt: use above pain points and target audience to fill out template. I fill in the pain points. These are some of the similar ones we just saw with the SaaS. Target audience is the SaaS founders, and then I give it a template. So for the template, I actually made an entire process. So I have a different document that we use at our agency, as well as we give out to our consulting clients, in which we lay out the entire script for ChatGPT, as well as for the clients to fill out. So basically what you're giving ChatGPT is a template to fill out with the given details, and this gives you a really easy way to quickly get a draft and then go from there. Obviously you do want to see it as a draft, and you do want to edit, because sometimes it does sound a bit robotic, because in the end, I mean, it is a robot, right? So you do want to keep that in mind. But it's a really good way and quick way to get started with your creative process. So the way we do it is actually I give it multiple different options, and I would usually fill out a lot more information based on the onboarding form we get from our clients over at the agency to feed all of that information back to ChatGPT. For now, I kept it super simple, right? Only pain points and the target audience, but you could also fill out like all of the questions you have on an onboarding form, for example, or if you're doing it for yourself, you can think about filling things out like what keeps them up at night, what are their biggest desires, why do they buy certain solutions or why do they not buy certain solutions, what's your ideal client type, what are some of the questions you can ask your target market that they would respond to, what makes it relevant to reach out with your solution right now. All this kind of stuff, right? You can fill it out, give it to ChatGPT, and then make it fill out your template. So for the template, we give a lot of different options. I won't go through all of this right now, but if you do want an in-depth script writing video on how to write scripts with ChatGPT or write scripts in general, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see if I can make a video if there's enough interest. So as you can see, it's quite long, and it includes all of the 4 or 5 emails even we send to a prospect, and it fills it out with the information. All right, so as you can see, it filled out the entire script, so you can pause it here to read through what it wrote. I must say it's a bit generic right now because we didn't fill in a lot of information. Obviously, we only gave it some general pain points, which are super broad. right? We gave it customer acquisition, cash flow management, like that's a super broad offer. Usually what you'll do is only fill in the pain points around your offer, as well as only fill in the exact offer you have and the exact target audience. So maybe make it even more specific, like SaaS founders in the financial industries, right? But overall, you can spin this up in a couple of minutes. And if you standardize this and you write scripts often, or you're looking for testing different angles, you can quickly do it with ChatGPT. All right, and the final use case we use it for is actually editing lead lists. So we have two subcategories here. One is formatting variables. So if you've ever scraped data from any type of source like LinkedIn or some website directory, you will have noticed that the data sometimes is structured a bit weirdly, or it will sometimes include like the legal information of the company, like LLC or incorporated. So obviously if a normal human would write an email, it would not include that information in there. You wouldn't call Apple LLC, you would call it Apple. So this is a pain, and in the past people have solved this by having, for example, hiring VAs, going through all of the lists and editing it manually. That will cost a lot of time, it's very labor intensive, and overall just a bit of a waste, and it's a tedious task to do yourself, right? So what you can do instead is use ChatGPT. So let me share how I did it. So this is the actual prompt we use. So format company name without legal information that would be used in a cold email written by a human. So for this to work, you need to use Google Sheets and a Google Sheets plugin called GPT for Sheets. You can look it up on Google, and it's very easy to install, and you can just start using it. What you will need though is an API key from OpenAI, which is not the same website as ChatGPT, but it's actually on a different website. So you need to go to platform.openai.com. You go to view API keys and then create a new secret key. Make sure to copy and paste it, because after you created the key, you can never see it again. And then you can paste that into the GPT for Sheets plugin, and you can start using it. So do keep in mind, this will cost you money. So every time you use AI in a spreadsheet, it will cost you a bit of money. It's not that expensive. I'll share actually what my usage is like. So as you can see, it does add up after a while. I mean, I paid 15 bucks so far, but if you think about all of the time we saved by using it, it's actually not that expensive at all. And especially if you're running a business, it obviously doesn't really matter. But do keep in mind that every time you do use it, it will cost you money. So once it's enabled, you have the ability to type a formula with GPT. So you just type in GPT, and then you open it, the brackets, and you can write a prompt between quotation marks. So for example, hello, just to have a test. And as you can see, it will load for a bit because it needs to communicate with the AI. And then it says, hello, how can I assist you today? So this is how it works. So as you can see here on the left side, we have company names that include LLC, incorporated, corporation limited, or even a really big one I made up, Big Apple, a Microsoft company limited incorporated, a Microsoft company limited incorporated. So when you click on the cell, you want to make sure the formula goes as follows. So format company name without legal information, it would be used in a cold email written by a human. You put that between brackets, you put a comma, and then you indicate the cell you want the formula to be applied to. And as you can see, Green Tech Solutions LLC turns into Green Tech Solutions. And just to remove these, what you can do then is select the cell and drag it down, and it will just load up the other ones as well. And as you can see, it takes a bit of time, but it then loads them. Same with this one. So even if it's a really long string, it will take the most important part, and you can actually use it right away in your outreach. So another use case for this is actually, for example, if you scrape data from LinkedIn, sometimes people will call themselves by like a nickname. So for example, my LinkedIn account is not called this way, but it could be called this way, right? Like Jan, B2B outbound guy or whatever. So you can just really easily write a prompt like GPT, open your brackets, and you say, so I just made up a really quick prompt. For example, extract this first name from this profile name, do not include slogans, and then you indicate the formula and it will just extract my name. You can do the same thing by saying remove emojis, remove any dashes, remove any whatever you want to remove, and it's a really easy way to edit text. So the next use case I have is for personalizing first lines inside of emails, making a short compliment for them. So you have a lot of softwares that do this for you, and while they're really valuable, if you have all of the data already inside of your spreadsheet, you could use it and make those lines yourself as well. This is what I mentioned earlier in the video. This is so much cheaper to do it this way, as opposed to using a first line writer tool. They will charge you usually like 10 to 20 cents per contact, while this will only cost you maybe 0.1 cents per line. So as you can see, this is a list of e-commerce stores I pulled, and you have a meta description here that basically describes what the e-commerce store is selling. What you can then do is use the following prompt, and it's also included in the description down below with the link to the video. It's based on the short company description. Write a short, concise, non-repeating compliment that sounds genuine and human, which is funny to ask an AI. To start off a cold email with, make it 20 words. Start with "love that you," and then give it a cell name. And as you can see, we'll write "love that you offer affordable clothing without compromising on quality." Right? That's taken from their description. So easy way to do it is just drag down and it will start loading. So it can take some time. So this is a pretty big list. So if you were to do all of them, it can take up to maybe 10 minutes. But it's a really easy way to make those first lines. And very similar to this e-commerce data, if you're using a data platform like Apollo, for example, or LinkedIn, you also have different columns like SEO description or short description they can use that summarizes what the company does, and based on that you can have GPT write a compliment. And while this is a really nice way to start off, it is one of the more generic use cases and the compliments are kind of empty. We've seen mixed success with using these in outbound campaigns. Sometimes they do add a lot of value, but sometimes you don't really see the difference. So one other way you can actually use this is to use it to pick out, for example, the product name or the category of what we're selling. So for example, when you pitch your product with your offer sentence, you say like, and then you can just call out, hey, it can work exceptionally well since you're selling swimwear, or since you're selling chocolate, or since you're selling alcohol, or whatever, right? Like you can pick out the category and then name that inside of your email. And this is a good way to segment or basically personalize a bit more based on logic as opposed to giving them a compliment. So definitely do play around with this, and there's obviously a lot more creative use cases for this. So if you have any and you're willing to share those, make sure to drop a comment down below, and I would love to hear your creative ways of using this. So those are my 3 use cases for ChatGPT. I hope you got value from this. So if you need any help with your outbound campaigns, LinkedIn, cold email, sales calls, CRM management, etc., and you want some help with that, check out the first link in the description down below. If not, that's fine too. Just drop a subscribe, a like, a comment, and I'm more than happy. So thanks again for watching, and see you guys in the next one.